What's up, everybody? It's Big Bry, Level Up Cleveland, and we are here for another Pigskin in the Mosh Pit podcast. We got a special edition for you, an off-season special Browns edition of the Pigskin. And let me bring the guys in here one at a time. Of course, ex-Mushroom Head lead singer and co-founder of Mushroom Head, currently doing Doom Candy right now. Here's Jeffrey Nothing, or Jeff Hatrix.
How you doing, brother?
What's up? How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing pretty good, enjoying this legal tampering period.
Yeah, man, it's been a fun day. Well, they were, like I said, I was just telling you guys before, they've made it easy on this one. This is going to be a fun podcast.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring in our next guy here, as always, hailing from the Spuds. Now he is One Life All In's lead man. This is Mr. Don Foose.
Woo!
Hey, brother.
Go Brownies.
Yeah.
Our off-season edition, and we always bring in our main sports writer and drummer, heavy metal drummer from bands like Made in America and The Mob Rules.
Woo! Yeah.
This is Mr. Dan Gillis.
Yay!
What up?
What's up, everybody?
How you doing?
So, and today we have a special guest with us. We're bringing in none other than, from the Manimals, Mr. Larry Wolf.
Whoa!
Larry the Wolf
Yeah.
with us. Dude, this is going to be a blast, man.
Yeah,
And Larry is a well-known Jets fan. He doesn't hold it back. And
All right.
so he's as sad as we are when
Broadway
it comes
Joe.
to the history. Yeah, we all have the same type of history, so this should be fun. And we share a lot of history with the Jets, so we'll get into some of that later on too. But guys, they really made it easy for us to talk about a lot of stuff. Earlier in the week, Jeff and I were talking about Jerry Jeudy a little bit and stuff.
Yeah.
And thinking, oh, that was a big deal. And Don, we were all talking about it. And we were thought, wow, that was a big deal. That's cool. They're actually, doing some stuff here to improve the team. And then today it was just like every few minutes there was an update, right? It was just like and it was pretty good stuff. I mean, what do you guys think? Well, overall, I mean, it's pretty good. The draft doesn't really mean much in Cleveland anymore, does it?
It's refreshing that it doesn't mean that much anymore.
Right.
I'll tell you that
Yeah,
much.
the tampering period's our new Super Bowl.
I like
true.
that they can. I like that they can kind of go with best available as long as they get maybe another running back and a linebacker.
I mean, for the rest of the way.
Yeah, as far as like the draft.
Oh yeah, as far as the draft goes. Oh yeah, that's where they're at now, right? I mean, like they can just go after playmakers and stuff like that, and that kind of thing. And they're in that part now where where they're just trying to win this whole thing, and they just get those little pieces. Barry is fun as a GM. I mean, if nothing else, he's a fun GM. He just goes every year he goes off.
What do you guys think about the Winston pickup?
I mean,
it didn't do anything for me, really.
I mean,
It
he's
wouldn't
shown promise. He's shown promise before, and maybe Dorsey can help him like he did Newton and the guy in Allen a little bit before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if your starting quarterback goes down, I think you're fucked.
Yeah, I think
I don't care who you are. I really think that's the NFL.
nobody's
I mean,
going after Flacco.
Let's
still,
ask
though.
Larry the Wolf. Let's ask Larry the Wolf about what happens when the starting quarterback goes down. Usually, Larry, what
He
happens?
knows about that.
When I hear anything about, well, first of all, let me just say very quickly, Big Bry, thank you very much for having me on, and all you guys. I get so much great feedback on the episode you had me on a few months ago, so that was really
That was
cool.
fun. That was a great one.
Don Foose, you're one of my favorite guys in the world, one of my few pals in music, always one of the absolute best, one of my favorite all-time performers. Dan, I didn't know you except for watching this stuff on which I watched every week, and you found me on Facebook or Fraud Book, because Fraud Book is the devil and I can't stand it, but I have to connect it. But you found me on there, and I really enjoy your writings about OHSAA sports. As you know, maybe saw I got a daughter who's a coach in there. My kids were all involved with athletics. And Jeff, nothing. You and I don't know each other, but I feel like we know each other because we've had parallel universe. I've never had the success you had, young man, but I remember you coming out to support us at the Pop Shop back in the 80s, early 80s. And I remember when we made our comeback, in 99, 2000. You were kind enough with Mushroom Head to let us come out and be on one of the bills with you guys out in the rain. In fact, Don came out. I was panicked. We didn't have enough songs. Don ran out and did a couple Cro-Mags songs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That was fun.
Oh, thank
I
you.
wish I was
Thank you
there
for
You're welcome.
supporting you.
Was that at the flying machine?
Yeah.
Must have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
But,
cool.
Good
when
time.
you
I
guys-
love that was my place. That was right around the corner from me.
Oh yeah, it was a great. I mean, Don came up, and I remember Don turning around and screaming at my drummer, "Slow down!" because he was playing a damn. How do you play a Cro-Mag song too fast? But he had
That's
one
cool.
speed. That was his one speed. He had no
Good
groove.
times.
When you back to the, I just wanted to say that to you guys, and thank you. I'm thrilled to be here with you. Let me show you how far I go back with the NFL. I got this at my first NFL game I ever went to, October of 1970. My uncle took me to see Joe Namath and the Jets against Johnny Unitas and the Colts at Shea Stadium.
Wow.
I
United.
was still selling world champion pennants there. That was about a month after the Monday Night Football game, which, of course, is one of the two great victories in the last 50 years for the Browns, both at the expense of the Jets. One was the Monday Night Football team.
We know the other one.
And the second was I
Baker
still had
Mayfield.
PTSD from the January 87 double overtime game. When I was
Oh,
down at the stadium.
Yeah, that was insane.
Brown fans around me are all leaving, screaming, crying, and then with 10 minutes to go, they pull it out.
The Kozar, man. He was
They
our
just,
man.
showed, they just showed a replay of that on the NFL Network the other day.
Yeah, those are.
I was
And
riveted.
That's like our. For you, that's like our fumble when they play that shit,
Yeah.
or the drive. They got to play that shit. You're rummaging
Yeah.
through something to watch, and it's like the drive. You just can't click it fast enough. You're like, fuck
Yeah.
you.
Well, I always say with the drive, with the drive nuts, the Browns won the game they should have lost against the Jets, and they lost the game they should have won a week later against Denver.
Makes
Oh,
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, when you talk about the quarterback going down, as you know, there was some high hopes for, and let me preface this. About 20 years ago, I made up my mind. The Jets guys, none of these players, they don't pay our bills. I got tired. I made a decision about 20 years ago. My kids were doing sports. I started competing again, and I thought, these guys, I'm not going to invest my time and let them depress me, because after all, both these franchises over the last 50 years, you got 100 combined seasons with not even a trip to the Super Bowl out of either one of them, let alone a win. So
True.
I made up my mind about 20 years ago. I'm tired of letting these guys piss me off and bum me out. So I love football. I watch good football. Typically, that doesn't mean the Jets. I'm not a Browns fan, but I really like to see the Browns win, because I like to see everybody in a good mood. And who doesn't want to see the Browns win, or Detroit, one of these teams win?
Yeah.
As far as a guy going down, you might have heard about a guy named Rodgers going down about 4 plays the season last year.
4 plays in.
Damn
one.
turf.
Yeah.
You just bear it. I remember on my 10th birthday, I was out on Long Island at my uncle's house. It was August of 1971. They were opening up Tampa Stadium. And I'll get off after this thing. We're all waiting to see the return of Joe Namath, the biggest name in football and in sports, bigger than Ali, because Ali had been in prison. He was the biggest name. He was the Elvis of sports. They play him in a preseason game against the Detroit Lions. I forget who the guy fumbled. Handoff, running back fumbles. Mike Lucci from the Lions picks it up, starts running it back. Namath runs over, unlike Cam Newton. Namath rambles over with his legs, one good knee, attempts to make a tackle, whiffs. And Mike Newhoff, another linebacker in the Lions, spears Namath in the healthy left knee as he's laying on the ground, gone for the season, the first preseason game of the year. And the Jets, being the Jets, because they abused him like the Colonel abused Elvis Presley, rush him back in week 10 of a lost season. Wow. So when I see a quarterback goes down, it bums me out, no matter who it is.
Yeah. Real quick, though, when it happened, did you kind of feel like, oh, yeah, of course? Or was it like, oh, my God?
It's like the butt fumble and the fake spike, and, they snatch stupid shit from the jaws of victory, or something good. They figure out a way to build your hopes up and bum you out at the end.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, exactly. All right. We'll come back to you. We definitely got to talk some more stuff with you, because I got a whole bunch of stuff here I want to talk about. And you guys really didn't have much of a free agent signing thing, so we'll talk a little bit about that. All right, so let's talk real quick about the Browns, because this is not real quick, but this has been an amazing day. I want to just go over real quick the whole rundown of the day, and then we'll talk about it just to give everybody a real quick rundown. If I forgot anything, tell me. So it looks like we got Jerry Jeudy in the trade, and then today we got Jameis Winston, linebacker Jordan Hicks, offensive tackle Hakeem Adeniji or something like that. Zadarius Smith resigned. Mo Hurst resigned. We got Nyheim Hines, Shelby Harris resigned, and Michael Dunn resigned. Now, those are mostly a lot of backups and stuff like that we retained and stuff like that. But Z is a familiar one. It's good. We got Mo Hurst back, Shelby Harris. These are all good signings for the Browns that they retained these guys. And then some of the guys they picked up, Hines could be a good pickup for them. And I'm not too sure about anyone. Jordan Hicks could be a good pickup for him as well. He better be. They're paying him like a good pickup, so he needs to be a good pickup for him. Now, obviously the elephant in the room is the Jameis Winston, the whole Jameis Winston thing, and obviously as always in Cleveland, there's a whole polarizing thing, especially since Flacco came in last year and did his magic trick, and that was it. Now everybody wants Flacco. Well, obviously they're not going to have him. So obviously that's the first part. The people have to get over that part of it. And then secondly, this is the guy that's going to be backing up Watson. And A, is that a good or bad thing? And B, does it matter? Because once you get to your backup quarterback, most likely is it your season over anyways. So let's start with Jeff. Let's see what Jeff's got to say about this.
I really like the Hines pickup because he missed last year, but he was with Ventrone with the Colts before that. And in 2022, he actually ran 2 kickoffs back for touchdowns in one game against the Patriots. So he's interesting.
Yeah, he's got return ability.
Yeah, and then I like that we lost Walker, even though I think he was too injury prone to really bring back, and then we lost Taki because Elliott Wolf was not drafting him, so the Patriots grabbed him. But the only defensive tackle we lost was Jordan Elliott, and other than maybe 4 or 5 big plays over his time with the Browns, he was kind of invisible.
Yeah, he was a disappointment, I think, for sure. Yeah, we didn't really lose. We'll get into that too a little bit. We really didn't lose anybody. Like, I'm surprised, really. I mean, I'm surprised at how it's already first day. It's already worked out. It looks like pretty good for us so far. We'll see.
Yeah.
What do you think, Don?
Yeah, I'm not bummed out about losing anybody so far. I'm stoked that we got Zadarius Smith back. I think even more so than like who we didn't get. Like I said, I would have rather had Flacco coming in a second year. He knows the system. He's loved by everybody. It would have been a smooth thing, but I think, they're worried about what Deshaun Watson's going to feel. It's like he should be able to handle the pressure of being paid that much money. We shouldn't worry about making him feel insecure or whatever. But
I know. I hear what you're saying. I think it's obvious they've sunk all their money and resources, not all of it, a lot of it, into making sure that Watson is got every single possible thing to make sure that he has the best possible season. They're trying to feed that investment every possible thing that they can possibly give them.
Well, they were going with flow, like we got Jerry Jeudy and like Amari Cooper. They've got history,
Yeah.
In Alabama, So
yeah, I mean, and I we still got Elijah Moore too, and I know Elijah Moore didn't do much last year.
Yeah,
but that moves him into the third role. That moves him into a different role now, and it kind of moves everybody down a notch, And the receiver thing is always like that, When you add that guy wherever he goes, it kind of puts everybody else into their place, and it can improve the whole core. And so I think that's what they're hoping for here, that they caught lightning in a bottle again, like they did with Cooper. Although I think Cooper was a little more proven commodity when we got him.
Yeah.
Than Judy's kind of been a little off, but we'll see. I mean, there's a good chance that this could all work out. I mean, the way they're doing it and the way they're setting themselves up, it looks like the defense is going to be stellar again. Hopefully, I mean, it looks like it, barring injury again.
But even looking in our own division, with the Steelers getting Russell Wilson, I like that because I think that's middle of the road for the Steelers. They're going to miss out on a great quarterback class this year. next year's quarterback class isn't all that great. So they have him on rent, and I think they're going to miss a good quarterback class unless they get somebody in the draft.
Yeah,
and put
that's
him
probably
under
what I think.
Wilson's
Well,
wing for a season.
Yeah, if they don't draft a quarterback, then they've become one of the worst teams because they've always been the smartest, one of the smartest, and it's obvious. Russell Wilson, Sean Payton couldn't fix him. I mean,
Well,
are you kidding me? And you're going to tell me that Steelers are going to do it? Come on, man.
Well,
that
the
guy's the one.
They'll finish around 500, and that'll give them a late first-round draft pick for next year. So
that's the Mike Tomlin effect. That's the 500 is the Mike Tomlin effect. The guy just goes 500, just automatic. He rolls out of bed, he goes 500.
Yeah. True.
Dan, what are you thinking? Dan, can you hear me? He's frozen. Dan, you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You broke out. You're kicked out. You're kicking out. Yeah, he might want to come back in.
Sounds like he's on a CB.
Yeah. It does.
10-4 trucker.
He's gone. So real quick, okay, Larry, I'm going to talk to you real quick about this because you guys got an offensive lineman in the free agency there. I saw a guy named John Simpson, good offensive lineman. But that's about it, really. Not a whole lot, much more.
Well, they picked up the first of all, I will say with Flacco and Elijah Moore, both former Jets, there's a reason when Rodgers went down why they didn't pick up Flacco because he'd been on their squad for the previous 3 seasons. Yeah. God bless him. The guy came out and he had that spectacular 3 games. But what the hell did he do for you in the playoff game?
No, I agree. I mean, I think they squeezed every bit.
To me, I agree. That's one of the things that's changed so much. I'm going to get in a long riff about how I dislike fantasy football and how the tail is now wagging the dog and it's no longer a meritocracy. And now people are worried about measurables rather than results. But and Elijah Moore was a complainer when he was on the Jets. I mean, he wasn't in the locker room. He bitched about not playing. Well, he didn't produce a lot when they did give him a shot. So I think they're good players. Elijah, I think, has potential in terms of. And again, guys, I care about the Jets, but I'm a football fan. I just like to see good football. I like to see good players put in their best possible position to do their best. And I still like to see teams. And it's about the chemistry of the team. So the Big Bry, the guy you mentioned, the Jets picked up today. Yeah. He's from the Ravens. Well, what's the quarterback with the Ravens again?
Jackson.
Lamar.
He had a good that guard looks good in PFF, but PFF is skewed also. You know who owns PFF? Chris Collinsworth. How objective has he been? Did you guys know that?
No, I didn't know that, but now that I know it, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys know that Chris Collinsworth owns PFF?
No, that was the first announcer I truly hated in the whole of all of it.
Yeah. So even that, it presents itself as the pure data. It's information, but it's still an amount of subjectivity to it.
Yeah.
But they did pick up the backup quarterback from the Giants.
I missed it.
Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, Taylor.
Yeah, I did see that.
I wrote Buddy Tyrod.
Yeah, he's streaky though, man. He'll light it up for a while, and then he'll shit for a while. Then he'll light it up. He's a streaky guy.
He's snake bit.
He's the black Brian
for a minute.
And the Jets are crazy. I don't know. They might do something strange like pick up a quarterback in the draft. I miss the old days of Mel Kiper when they used to have the draft at the Waldorf Astoria. And every year he would wait for the Jets to make their pick so he could just say, this is the absolute worst pick I've ever seen in the history of sport. And all the Giants fans would be heckling them. It was great.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yeah, they always took a lineman.
Yeah. So here we are. Let's talk about this Jameis Winston thing a little bit more because I just want to think. I want to hear what you guys think about this because do you guys agree? Does the backup quarterback matter? Is the Flacco thing? Let me just ask you guys this first, okay? And let's see what you guys think. The Flacco thing, okay? He came in and he won games for us, and he did it kind of in a stylish way that's fun to watch where he's zipping the ball 25 yards down the field, which also opens up the idea that you can throw a lot of picks and some costly ones along the way with that kind of style of play. And you do have a huge faction of people, even in Cleveland, that just hate Deshaun Watson. From the minute they signed him, he was hated and they hated him. So here comes this dude riding in on this horse, right? And he all of a sudden zipping the ball around. And didn't it just give those people somebody to just completely latch onto and say, see, this is my guy now. And that's why we have such a rabid thing as far as how many people are like, we're Flacco freaks and the whole thing. It was because how much Watson was hated. I mean, that's really what spawned that. Don't you agree? I mean,
Yeah, Watson is a very polarizing figure. Almost like Baker Mayfield was polarizing. And Flacco coming in and doing well toward the end of the year was awesome. It was like folk hero type shit. But the problem is he turned 39 and all of a sudden midnight hit. And he threw 2 horrible pick sixes and we got destroyed. And he's going to be 40 years old next year.
Yeah.
And the problem is and I've been a Cleveland Browns fan forever. Quarterback controversies happen, and it just divides the fan base, it divides the locker room, and it just sinks the team. And it was going to happen. As soon as Watson threw an interception, we need Flacco.
For sure.
We need Flacco. We need
That
Flacco.
also. Oh, yeah.
You know, and to me, it's like I'm not a Jameis Winston fan. I put him with Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield as like my 3 hated quarterbacks. I never liked him in college. I never liked him in Tampa. He was. I just think he's an asshole. But you know, I look at the dynamic of the team. Winston isn't a threat to Watson. Winston has a similar skill set to Watson. I think this is more of an indication that Dorsey's going to take over play calling next year because I think Stefanski definitely likes his game manager type quarterbacks like Cousins, like Keenum, Flacco. You know, he did well with these guys, but with a guy who has RPO skills and runs around, it seemed like he was trying to find a mesh. And I think Dorsey has the skill, has worked with Allen as an RPO. He worked with Newton as an RPO. So now he comes in with Watson, and now he's got another RPO guy in Winston. So to me, that tells me that Stefanski's going to eventually turn over the play calling to Dorsey, which a lot of Browns fans have been crying about for 4 years that he needs to put down the Denny's menu, which is so ridiculous. I hate that shit. You know, so I mean, I hate it, but I'm willing to give it a shot because I knew if they would bring Flacco back, as much as Barry and Stefanski talked about, we're not worried about the locker room, we're not worried about what fans say. The fact of the matter is it would have divided the team, and quite frankly, I don't think Flacco has the magic anymore. I think what we saw in the playoff game is kind of what's going to happen. I mean, nobody signed Flacco yet. He's still there. There's a reason for that. Well, he's 30. He's going to be 40 years old.
It's not about whether or not does he have the magic or not. It's how much money are you willing to bet on it.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to in the NFL. It's how much money are you willing to bet that he still has it or doesn't have it, and how much money are you willing to bet that someone else isn't going to be better in that role than he is. That's all it comes down to. And like you said, at the instant he did something wrong, everyone was going to start freaking out about the whole entire who should be the starting quarterback bullshit would fire right up. But you know what, dude? To be honest with you, it's probably going to happen anyways. That's the whole Watson effect that we have with this team. Is Watson will always have that effect until we win, go to the Super Bowl. You know that's what's going to stop it. You know, like it's going to take that. Because that's just the way it works. Football in sports has gotten so personal now, and personal lives now matter. What's the most talked about thing in football? It's Taylor fucking Swift.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's that's the way it is now. But I'm sorry, Don. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say I don't think that people were, siding with Flacco just because they hated Watson.
Not just because, but
for the first time since Bernie Kosar, maybe. Derek Anderson, we haven't seen somebody throw the ball like that down the field, sustainable drives. Like throwing the long ball with some success. So we saw that, and we flashed back to when we were kids watching like real
Bernie.
quarterbacks,
Yeah.
So that's what sucks. We're gonna miss that. But like Jameis Winston, if he is calling RPOs, I'm just hoping that he does. He's a big guy. He's not as fast as Watson. He's not like a real scrambler.
He's more of a passer. He really is more of a passer and a
he's
scrambler.
He
But
does have a
not
big arm.
runner.
Right.
Yeah. Got a
He's
huge
sturdy
arm.
though. With this weather and stuff, I like his chances of making it through a game without going out on a stretcher.
A game. See, this is you're 100% right. Is that's all I hope we ever need this guy for is like a game or a play or because if this is like a stretch of like 4 or 5 games where you're going to rely on Jameis Winston, I'm sorry, but the dude's track record sucks.
It does.
So you're not you cannot bank on this dude to get you through the whole season. But I don't think you could have banked on Flacco either, and that's just my opinion. I just don't believe that was the answer to get you through 5 or 6 more games. I think you squeezed everything out of that dude.
He was horrible in the playoff game.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was over.
Yeah.
But anyway,
struck.
And it's crazy. It's crazy too because the backup quarterback is always everybody's favorite player in Cleveland, and
It is.
and anyone but the starter. And to me, Flacco wanted to be a starter, and Winston is used to being a backup, and I feel like that was part of it. But I feel like also that we caught 3 teams when they were down. Really, the Chicago game was the only game that was playing against a team that was almost full strength. And then we play against Case Keenum with the Texans the first time. And the second time, they're basically at full strength when we're crumbling.
yeah,
So you saw the outcome of that.
Yep.
yeah, and so yeah, I mean, like I think bottom line is when I heard some of the phone calls and I was listening to talk radio all day. When I heard some of these guys calling in, and it sounded like the sky was falling over the signing of our backup quarterback. One guy actually called up, and I mean, not that it matters, it really doesn't, but it's funny. It's just funny to me how some people lose their minds. He said this is the worst quarterback room that the Browns have ever had. Since I was like,
I can think of a few others.
like you got a shortest memory I ever.
16 team?
I'm like, dude, literally, you could put together, I don't know, almost every year since they came back. That was the worst quarterback room. So it was just I just hear it. But people, it's always that way in Cleveland, man. The sky is falling.
Spurs and Win probably loves that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Everyone wanted Flacco or Brissett, and
That was another one.
I didn't want to get either of them.
Well, there's another one.
Everybody's Saints Brissett. The guy was 4-7. He threw 3 picks that cost wins. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in the first few games. Everybody's like, Watson can't hit the receivers. Brissett was way further off.
Yeah, I wonder is this the way it is in other cities where we just like land-based everything that we do? Like, is it like that everywhere? Because I don't remember it being this way when we had Kozar and them days and stuff. Like, we backed everybody. We were like behind everything. Like, no matter who was on the team, we liked them. We were like, fuck it, that's our boy, and we're gonna die with our guys. And Now it's like everything is like, well, I don't like them. I like them. I don't like them. Well, I like them. It's like, what the fuck, man? It's like, when did that all matter? You know what I mean?
ADD.
Is that what it is?
They won Super Bowl right now.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways I understand that a little bit, but in some ways I just realize that I think Larry sums it up a little bit. I think that at some point there's a level that you have to learn to cut it off emotionally and not let it become so overwhelming in what your day-to-day life is. You know what I mean? It's not that important.
Well, I'm an angry person anyway, and I don't need them to help me get angrier. So a football team that doesn't do what, I will tell you guys when you talk about, because I'm talking completely objectively because I'm outside of this in a lot of sense. I think you go back to the time when you had the Cleveland Press in town with Ask Hal, the referee, Hal Lebovitz. Okay.
Yeah.
He's my idol.
Okay. And then, at that time you had two, I think Chuck Heaton was the plain dealer okay. So at that time, there was a value in having a dissenting view. Because if you both repeated the same thing, what the hell do you need two opinions?
Yeah.
Sure.
So you had a lot of dissenting view and opposing views on stuff, and it was a little more objective. When the Cleveland Press went away, it seems to me like everything kind of became like it's very it's either this is the greatest thing or we're the worst. It's the greatest thing or it's the worst thing. See, I still see I follow casualty stuff back east. The Jets are always the secondhand citizens in the New York market anyway, because you've got 9 million papers in New York, and you got the Giants there.
Yeah.
They've always been treated like it's like a Mets Yankees thing. The Mets are the inferior and the Jets the inferior. I will say with with Watson on that topic, I boycotted the Jets for one season since I've followed them, and that was the year they signed Michael Vick.
Oh, yeah.
He's a dog killer. All right.
Yeah.
I can't look at my kids and say, "Oh, let's root for this team where there's got this guy on there." I don't care if he did his time or not. He's still an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a bad human being. I wrote them letters. Said, "Hey, I've been following this stuff since I've been 8 years old. I'm not doing it." So I'm not going to comment on the Watson trade from an ethical point of view or acquisition from an ethical point of view. But I will say I think the Browns mortgaged way too much to get it. I mean, that's almost like a Herschel Walker deal with the Vikings. 30 years. I think they gave up 3 number ones and number 2 for him.
Yeah.
Is that right? Am I mistaken? There's nobody right now I would do that for. No player.
Well, you're right. I mean, it was definitely. We lost Foose.
I mean, you're mortgaging a lot. Don't you guys agree? That's mortgaging a lot of your future.
He was statistically the number 1 quarterback in 2020, and you cannot get a true franchise quarterback in their prime ever. I mean, people don't trade him. That's all I feel about it. I mean, if he stays healthy, he'll get 12 wins.
I think the Browns had to do something at the quarterback position to make that kind of splash, and Watson just happened to be there, be available, and there were other suitors. People now, hindsight is like, oh, Browns are the only ones that wanted him. No, the Falcons. We lost. Oh, I'm back. The Panthers wanted him. The Falcons wanted him.
Yeah.
All these.
13 teams.
Yeah, so it's like they had to up the ante. They had to, pay a little bit more to get him. Now, granted, I don't think they realized the shitstorm with all the legal shit that happened afterward, But, they had to do something. Baker Mayfield was out of favor. The coaching staff didn't trust him. The front office didn't trust him. His teammates didn't trust him. They took a step back. They had, they knew they couldn't move forward with him. And, so I don't fault them for it. But but then they get him, and then all of a sudden he gets suspended. He comes back, he's rusty. He's not playing very well. Then he comes back, and then he wins games, but people are bitching, and then he hurts his shoulder. And, so now all of a sudden everyone's, the Herschel Walker trade. So I get it, but
yeah.
I'm not all of a sudden. I'm since day one on that because I wouldn't have done that. That's my opinion. I don't disagree.
No, I agree.
You guys make good points, but
I think the one thing that we all agree on though was I don't think that was kind of like the GM sitting back and coming up with a trade and figuring this all out and saying, "Hey, I got this idea." I think that went down very knee-jerkly, and I think that was kind of like an emotional billionaire reaction.
It was a hassle trade.
I don't care what it takes. You get that guy. I don't care what it takes. And I think that's what happened. And we were put in that situation. Look, I mean, it's proven in the NFL over and over again. The billionaires with the most money, it's nice to have the pockets. But with that usually comes the biggest asshole in the room all the time. And am I wrong about that though? I mean, that just goes with it. And so it's like that's what happens. I mean, you got Jerry Jones, you got it's all over the place.
And plus, to me, the Texans didn't have that story out there until he said he wanted traded.
Yeah, exactly.
That was their little secret. They were part of it.
I know.
They gave him the non-disclosure agreements. They probably set up the hotel room and everything. It's like,
I'm sure they did.
For sure that was happening. I mean, that was all part of it. I mean, but still, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's And there's a lot of scuzzy things going on all over the NFL, and people cover up for it. And it's just the way all this shit goes, man. Depends on your luck at the time. You know, if somebody's out to get you, it's like politicians, right? It's always funny when a politician gets in trouble for doing something wrong, because you know every single one of them is doing totally illegal stuff, and they're all freaking and here's this guy getting blamed for something, and you're just like, well, you're today's, you know, you're the GOAT, my friend. You know, like you're going down for the whole group, and I just think that's what we're talking about, kind of.
Yeah, wanted to bring up one thing real quick.
Not that he's not an asshole, but that's just part of what I'm saying.
You guys hear about the hero whose jersey I'm wearing?
Is that a Sipe jersey?
Brian Sipe?
Is that Brian Sipe?
Braylon Edwards. He saved like an 80-year-old guy in the locker room of YMCA that was probably going to get killed.
When was that?
Oh, I heard about that. I did.
That was just recently that happened?
Yeah, this guy was beating him up and was about to slam his head into like a bench or something, and he came around the corner and saved him. And the guy ran out, but they had his records from being in the YMCA and busted him.
Good.
Yeah. Finally, a Michigan guy did something right.
I know. That's one thing he didn't drop.
What the fuck?
Right place, right time.
Good one.
Oh my god, dude, that's fucking funny. That's cool. Good story though. Good story. You brought out the number 17. To me, 17 is Brian Sipe. I mean, I say it. That's instantaneous, but that's right.
Why didn't less?
What's that?
What are you doing wearing that number? It's probably why it didn't work out here. Did Brian really
like anybody who wears 19 doesn't ever work out here. It's very hard.
That's a good point.
Smelling people?
What?
I heard a rumor that Brian Sipe liked to sniff people like fans.
Really?
Yeah.
He was like, isn't that what they say Joe Biden does?
Like, let me smell you real quick.
Oh, he sniffed people?
Yeah.
What the hell? Man, that's weird. That's weird. And he was a short dude, so he was like, you know, he wasn't exactly getting like the top of the head on anybody. He was
level of the armpit.
Yeah.
I never heard
probably
that.
Still sniffing people, Jeff.
He's still out there. I mean, it ain't like Brian Sipe died, you know, so he's still out there.
No
probably,
offense, Brian. Love you, man.
Yeah, him and Joel Rose are sniffing people.
Joel Rose, is he still around? No, he's gone.
I think
that guy had to die like what?
I thought he killed himself.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, that's what?
Oh,
You're right.
That's a name drop.
This is a great podcast we're having, guys. This is
Joel Rose.
Yeah, dude. That is a good one, man. Wow, dude.
Not as good as Leon Bibb naked.
Yeah. Little known fact, that was a Spud Monsters demo name. Leon Bibb Naked. And then he heard that we named our demo Leon Bibb Naked. It's so fun.
I saw that news episode where he talked about it.
Did he really? You brought it up on air?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
That's the first demo that we recorded. What's that?
As I recall, Leon Bibb was a Jets fan. He didn't admit it very often, though.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Oh, what a scumbag.
Lowly Jets fan.
What a
scumbag. Quarterbacks a minute ago. What do you think about Kirk Cousins? Dan, you mentioned Magic before. If I'm not mistaken, he's 1-3 in his career in the playoffs, and he's now the fifth highest paid athlete as far as his aggregate of all his contracts. He's over $300 million guaranteed and $400 if he plays this out.
Yeah, it's an amazing situation.
He's made more money in his career than Tom Brady has.
Yeah, $440 million, almost $500 million.
Yeah,
and all of his contracts have been guaranteed.
He's a poor man's Dan Marino.
We were about to sign Stefanski, and I actually wanted the Jets coats after the Vikings had lost to the 49ers, because we had just said we were signing Stefanski, and I'd rather have the guy that's coaching the Jets now.
Oh, Salah. I wish you would have taken him.
Oh, yeah.
We were supposed to get – the Jets were waiting on Dan Campbell, and they didn't want to wait, so they grabbed Salah in a panic.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. That would have done it. That would have put you over the top.
I don't know, man. I kind of like Salah. I don't know. You don't like Salah? I think he could do it, man. He's great. No, he's done.
Maybe he doesn't have the.
When things are going wrong, he looks like he's a bystander at a bus. He looks like he's at a bus stop or subway, just observing and has no clue what he's watching.
Yeah, he
Sounds
looked
like
lost.
JB.
There's a lot of guys.
Yeah, just like JB.
When I hear a guy's a player,
I love your takes on JB, by the way, Jeff.
The dude's a statue, man.
Oh, here we go.
It's like, what is that?
Jeff's
like
gonna
my,
go on a
like
rant.
my body language. It's like, does that look like a coach?
that's it. That's it.
It's like look up arms crossed on the body language definition. It's not what a coach should be doing.
Hey, you know who a great Jets coach was that we got was Boom Boom Mangini. I liked him, man.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
For a minute.
Genius.
Yeah.
I mean, Holmgren was an idiot. Had they brought in a really good offensive coordinator, they would have won.
Yeah. I agree with
And
that.
Yep.
And then you get Colt McCoy. It's like, thanks for nothing, idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy though. No,
McCoy.
there's a guy who had a crazy long career in the NFL and made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
still hanging around.
I mean,
Ryan Hoyer, perfect.
Hoyer,
Yep.
too. Jeez.
Hoyer.
Worst playoff game ever.
when you bring up Kirk Cousins, it's like Kirk Cousins is that dude who is just good enough, and every contract came at just at the right time for him, so that everything always, like, he's that dude you always knew growing up that no matter what the fuck happened, it always worked out for that dude. Like, always worked out for that one guy. You always knew. You're like, you motherfucker, how does that? And that was Kirk Cousins. You better believe everybody that grew up with Kirk Cousins will be like, oh, everything that dude touched turned to gold. You know, like, that's what it is.
Kind of like
Cousins-
Anthony Stafford.
Yeah,
Cousins
it's another
and Hoyer
one.
both
At least
come from
Stafford won a
Michigan State.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he had to go somewhere else to do it.
Yeah, but Cousins has been in a
failed.
couple places already now. He's on what, third or fourth team?
True,
I
yeah,
mean,
he was in
and-
Washington.
I mean, he is just that dude. I mean, he's just good enough to convince somebody that they could change him.
I wish I was
him.
just good enough to make $500 million.
The
I know,
backup
right?
quarterback's the greatest job. It really is.
Garoppolo was just cut.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Jimmy
Garoppolo.
Garoppolo.
Yeah,
Cut.
I remember
finally.
2 years ago, Browns fans were whining that they wanted him. I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
We decide Jimmy G.
Yeah, I know, it's funny.
Modern day.
That guy doesn't have it.
You know, and the other thing about Browns fans, don't they always want the guy they used to have on the team back all the time? It's actually Cleveland sports in general. I don't know if that's all around the United States, but we always want back what we had all the time. Oh, we should get this guy back. Oh, why don't we get this? It's always the same guy we always had. We fall in love with these dudes.
Number 80.
Yeah.
Mayfield.
Brissett is really one of the better examples. actually,
Dobbs
of
was a
that.
big one.
Awful.
Yeah, I mean,
The Dobbs
A
takes were just so
journeyman.
fucking ridiculous.
Career journeyman.
yeah,
I
I mean,
a
like,
couple good games in Minnesota. They thought the second coming of, you know.
Wouldn't that be great if we still had Dobbs? Okay.
he seems like a nice guy. He seems like a smart dude. You know, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
He's very
he wants to-
intelligent.
He's super smart.
Yeah.
He's a really smart dude, and he's got the best agent in football and probably pro sports. I mean, he seems like a decent guy. He's like the anti-Jeff George. Jeff George used to be that guy that looked like Superman in every spring training. Everybody thought we can fix it because you could make every throw when it didn't matter.
Yeah, remember Jeff
He
George.
had nothing up here.
And he got up
Talk
there,
about practice.
zero leadership, stuffed in games, broke you know, just he wasn't a leader in any which way. But Kirk Cousins does have the best agent on the planet, I think.
Man, you aren't kidding.
Absolutely.
That's the other thing too. His agent must be outstanding. But like I say, a lot of these contracts. Look at Flacco was the top paid quarterback in the NFL twice. So like you just, it's a timing issue also. You know, you just came off an unbelievable season or maybe 2 in a row, and now your contract expires, and this guy just got this contract, so now you got to be the highest paid guy, and boom, and the next thing you know, you're that guy. And Brady always took discounts and always just did whatever because, I mean, he's
His
still
wife made enough money.
and
Patriots way.
Yeah.
see, Brady was still the best. I don't give a shit what anyone says. But anyway, that's just my opinion. Anyway,
He's the best post 78 rule changes. I would agree on that.
okay.
Oh my God, yeah. Since
I'll
you're
go with
not
you
allowed to touch the quarterback anymore.
If you ever want to see
I'll go with that.
a startling difference, I try to have conversations with people occasionally. I know this is riffing into the past, but if you take Dan Fouts, okay, great Hall of Fame quarterback.
Oh yeah.
His statistics, and I don't like to go all by statistics. You got to take them with a grain of salt and take them in context. Look at his first 6 seasons, then look after in his first breakout season is 79. His numbers, his performance, the first 6 years of it, and 6 years is not like 2 years. It's they're pedestrian.
So, yeah,
They're
it's long.
pretty mediocre. He was sub 50% completion rate. Even then was low. He was in the 40s 2 or 3 of those years. 78 rule changes it. 79, he takes off like a rocket ship.
Air Coryell.
Linemen can extend their arms. Receivers are no longer mugged all the way down the field. All that kind of stuff. So I would say, Brian, I agree with you. Post 78, yeah, I mean, it's hard to.
And what are you going to say, Johnny Unitas, or who are you going to say pre 78?
That
Otto Graham.
Chargers team
Are you
was
guys say
one of my
Namath?
favorites ever though, because
What about Otto Graham? I mean,
Otto
like, there's so many.
oh yeah,
Best ever.
What do you think, Larry? What are you? Where you going at with
Most
this?
talented is Namath.
Why is yours a Jet and why is ours a Brown? Why do you think
most
that
talented
happened?
is Namath. No, most talented is Namath, but he didn't have the best career. He had a disappointing career.
I know Namath was great. I'm just saying
But
that.
I would say Johnny Unitas, and certainly Otto Graham. There's certainly absolutely a case for Otto
Well, there's
Graham.
just I mean,
Johnny Unitas, I would say, because then you divide up what's like prehistoric era versus modern era.
Yeah.
I would say Johnny U.
and then you could probably
Bart Starr.
But your problem with Bart Starr, then you know what? You know how many yards he now this in context. In that era when he played, the average passing yards per game was under 150 yards. You know what his career average yards per game is?
Off the top of my head.
126.
Wow.
Oh,
Is that shocking?
Yeah,
That
it
is
is.
no,
Very-
because they had a great
Shocking.
offensive line.
And God bless Bart Starr. But I was talking about to somebody recently. The first 2 Super Bowl teams. He's one of 10 Hall of Famers on that team.
yeah, Paul Horning and
Chip
He's
Taylor.
one of 10
That
Hall of
offensive
Famers,
line was all Hall of Famers.
not counting Lombardi. He had
Ray
11 Hall of Fame people.
Hitchkey on defense. He had
It's
Adderley.
it's loaded. It's a
That was a
loaded.
Yeah.
loaded team.
He did what he needed to do, but that's a shocking number, isn't it? 126
It
career average. Yeah,
well, that
Hey,
was
Larry.
when it was ground and pound. All the
it was a
time.
running game. Sure.
Hey, Larry, I have a
And Vince
question.
Lombardi, that was his MO.
I have a question for Larry as an outsider, and I mean, you probably watch the Brown games sometimes.
Sure.
Was the Fitzpatrick hit on Chubb clean or intent?
Initially, I'm going to say clean, but I'd have to rewatch it, Jeff, to give you a truly, because I think it's borderline.
Yeah.
But I'd have to watch it again. I'll probably turn around and watch it while we're talking here and come back to you. So give me about 15, 20 seconds and I'll come back and I'll tell you. But initially I thought probably clean, but I hate to see a great player get hurt that way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
What did you think? Did you think it was intentional?
I do. I mean,
I do.
division games count so much. They're like winning 2 games or losing 2, and they could not stop him. So they stopped him in the only way they could. And Tomlin's notorious for it. James Harrison assaulted 2 Browns players in one game and didn't get any calls.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
I mean-
notoriously a dirty team, especially when it comes to the Browns. So when I seen that hit, I'm like, that fucker.
Oh yeah, it was over.
Yeah.
And our offense went out the window, and what should have been an easy win became a loss, and it set the tone for the season. And happily, we won 11 games, but we probably won the most in football.
Yeah, would you watch it if you watch it hit over and over again? It obviously they're holding them up high. Obviously, the move is to hit low.
And it's
And-
like
and
how is that
I'll-
not targeting?
but what I will say though is that it is the most perfect hit to do exactly what it did, and it's like
Yeah.
so it's like it is. There's I guess if you there's it doesn't have to be that's what happened. I guess is what I'm saying, but it does look bad. It just does. I mean, I'm sorry. And like he said, I mean,
they're
strategically
talking
it made
about
sense taking down our
Yeah.
big boy.
They're
Yeah.
talking about taking the hip drop tackle out. It's like, but it's okay to put a brick wall in front of a running back's leg.
Yeah, it's an ugly hit, man. It's an ugly hit. Now, anybody want to? Do you think this guy comes back from it? I mean, what do you think? I mean, is this dude going to come back from this fucking injury and become like the greatest story ever, or is reality going to hit us in the face come like preseason? Well, he's not even going to be ready anyway, so it's like it's going to be like mid-season if he even. Right? I mean, isn't that the consensus with this? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's slated to come back like in week 4 of next season. My heart
This
says
is the second time.
my heart
Yeah.
says yes. My head says no.
Right. Just, I mean, it doesn't seem likely to me. And
There's determination there. He's done it once before, even though it's 6 years, 5 years removed.
yeah, I think you could look at that two ways, right? He did it once before, so he has the determination, but he did it once before, so the wear and tear on that knee has now been doubly surgically repaired.
I think the Wolfman's ready to chime
I'm
in.
coming back. I just watched it. I rewatched it. Initially, I didn't realize how egregious that is. How low the guy dives and torpedoes his leg. It's a dirty fucking hit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
validation from the
That's
Wolf
the
himself.
The Wolfman.
It's tough for me to remember plays off the top of my head, but looking at that, what I just saw, yeah, I mean, he's already wrapped up. He's going. The guy completely on that. He torpedoes his leg. It's bad. It's bad.
Yep.
And he should be killed. I mean there's no other penalty for it.
I hate to see, as I said, I hate to see any player, but a great players. But it's tough on running backs, quarterbacks, receivers to come back from that kind of an injury. That's in years ago, as you probably remember. I mean, it took out when they still had shot blocks. I mean, they ruined guys like Gale Sayers.
oh yeah.
Namath. They all it did horrible things to them. And that was Phil Villapiano on the Raiders laughs now, brags how he used to put plaster of Paris around the big arm wrap he had and hit guys with it. And
I love them. I know it's terrible, but I just think those stories are just so insane, man, about like the 70s and shit.
Oh, one of the best hits of all time is one of the dirtiest hits is Ben Davidson, big bad Ben Davidson. In 1970, he spears Lenny Dawson in the back for the game with the Chiefs, and this started the whole thing where they hate each other. Otis Taylor runs over, giving up about 60 pounds and about 6 inches to Ben Davidson. He grabs him, flings him on the ground, mounts him like a little bitch, and big bad Ben Davidson lays there helpless, waiting for the refs to come over and save his life. Otis Taylor took no shit.
How about Jack Tatum on Daryl Stingley?
Daryl Stingley.
That was
Turkey Jones.
That was criminal.
Bradshaw over shoulder. That was great.
Yeah, Turkey Jones.
Yeah, I mean, like there's some great stuff back in the day. You won't
Charles
see much
Martin
of that.
on Jim McMahon.
They're almost not allowed to do it anymore.
Well,
They're just not.
It's gone too far.
Unless you're the Steelers.
Yeah, the correction has gone too far.
Do you
Unless
remember
you're the
in the NBA back
Unless
in,
you're the
I think,
Steelers, it's a good point.
1976, Kermit Washington belted Rudy Tomjanovich and broke his jaw completely.
Oh, yeah, he had bleeding on the brain or something. He almost
Yeah.
killed that guy.
He broke his
can YouTube
face.
that
Oh, he
video.
sucker
It's
punched him, yeah.
brutal.
Last him.
Awesome.
Haymaker.
Wow.
Yeah. Good. You just don't
Why don't
see
these
enough of
guys
that.
play hockey?
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
right.
I want to beat somebody and play hockey.
They're not even allowed to fight in hockey anymore the way they used to.
All right. So real quick, I want to get into
No,
a
they're
couple
not.
other things. This is a question for all you guys to answer here, because one of the other things that happened today is the Ravens got better, and I don't know how the fuck they always seem to do this, but they do, and they got Derrick Henry. Now I know there's a lot of ways to look at it, like, oh, he's old, he's past his prime, but Derrick Henry on that team could be a real problem. So what do you guys? Are you agree? I mean, like he could be a real problem with that team. Harbaugh could find a lot of good ways to use that cat, and then you already got a guy like Jackson. It's going to make it tough on some of these defenses, and I hope. What do you think? What are you guys thinking?
I think that I think he wasn't even number one in Tennessee. I think he's on the downside of his career. I was kind of happy to hear about that pickup too. I'm all right with it.
Hopefully they lose Gus Edwards.
He's got the tires on the tread on those tires is going.
Yeah,
The
so it's
Titans
good.
basically rolled him into the ground.
Well,
I
no,
feel
actually, high school. Look at his high school situation and college, and mostly high school though, because Alabama. But high school, he had 14,000 carries or some shit. I think it was, or 1,400 carries in high school. He had 1,400 carries.
Yeah,
Wear
How's
and tear.
that possible?
a lot of
Fuck.
damage before you even get to the NFL.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, like you're right. There's a lot of wear and tear on them. I'm just talking about how those fucking Ravens they do some shit, guys. I'm not sucking
Score-
no dick here, but I'm telling you though, they
I
can
mean,
pull some shit out of their ass sometimes.
Scoreboard and 14-14 and coming back from 14 down twice. I don't think Derrick Henry's going to make all that much difference.
Good. All right. I'm gonna believe in you
No.
guys this time. I
The
was a little
biggest key
worried.
for them is Lamar.
Yeah, his
Due
feet.
for another injury. Stopping a dime weighing that much.
And the Ravens have shit luck with running backs. I mean, look at J.K. Dobbins.
I know.
Yeah,
That dude.
He's available,
Dobbins
I
is going
mean-
to be the guy, and then 2 days
Yeah.
later he's hurt. Ow.
And no one
I'll
signed
take-
him,
I'll
right?
take
I mean,
a-
he's
I'll
still
take a
he's just
flyer
sitting
on
there.
Dobbins.
Yeah.
if we're
Well, he's
depending on if we're dependent on an injury for Lamar Jackson, we better sign Tanya Harding.
I did not break his
That's a
knee.
good line.
That'd be a good pickup.
That's a good
I
one.
love it. Yeah, man. We
No
need
new
someone like that,
signings.
right? We need that guy.
I
Just
guess
a
the Browns are out
sacrificial.
for the night.
We need a
Did you guys,
sacrificial lamb. All right. What time is it? We still got some time left, man. We still got- oh, no.
3 minutes left.
3 minutes left. Wow, that was fun, man.
Let's
good
talk
one.
about when the new Manimals are new Manimals album. Come on.
Yeah,
Oh,
man, dude. I mean, like, you even put the makeup on for us and everything. I,
I know,
love
I
that,
love it.
dude, by the way. I just want to tell everybody. So when we did that interview with you, and I walked in, same thing happened kind of with Jeff, but at least with Jeff, I knew Jeff was going to show up with the makeup. But it still shocked me when I saw it. But when I came in with Larry, and he had the cape on, the whole,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you even call that thing, but that the
Awesome.
dude, it was, dude. And he had the eye makeup on. And I was like, holy shit. So
This
that
guy-
was awesome.
I think Jeff goes a lot further than I do, with his transformation than mine.
Yeah, well, he
But
does.
I appreciate
was-
that.
That was a crazy experience too.
That's
It was,
awesome.
I'll tell you what was crazy. Sitting right next to Jeff and talking to him with that fucking horrible looking shit on his face. Like it looks like real gore and shit. And the whole time you're trying to not look at that. You're like trying to have a serious conversation. It's wild, man. It was fun. I'll tell you what, the podcast was a blast. And I thank all four of you guys, man, for being on that. That was
Yeah, it was great.
That was a fun time. I got to meet all you guys because of it. So
Yeah.
that's also awesome, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious, did you guys watch Combine stuff this past week? How much
did.
attention do you pay to it?
I
Not
thought
that
it was
much.
great.
They usually do.
What's his name who did the 4.21, the 4.21?
Oh, the offensive lineman did the 5-2-1.
No, there was somebody off.
Oh, the receiver from Texas A&M or one of the Texas schools.
I mean,
He broke
almost
the record.
breaking into a 4.1 is like that's
Fast.
easy, man.
Yeah, that's flying, man.
Yeah.
no,
Thing
I
about
know.
fast guys is they can't catch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Anthony
Schwartz.
Schwartz.
Anthony Schwartz.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Dolphins
John
gotta
Ross.
love that guy.
But
I
I
was
like
curious what you
watching
guys
the
thought
quarterbacks
about
at the
Colts.
combine. That was interesting, The quarterbacks, they all look good. Bo Nix looked, I think, top of the line.
I just saw something today. He had his pro day today,
How'd
and
he
he had
go?
exactly one team show up for him, the Bears. That was it.
Oh,
The Bears,
Really?
that was it.
That was it. They had it. Well, he's 25 years old. I think it's it's
Brandon
another
Weed.
story for another day. But I was down at Clemson this past weekend for spring practice day, and there were about 10, 11 players getting ready for their pro day this week.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it is, they're a good program. It's amazing to see the sheer number of talented guys there are playing football and how difficult it is to get to the next level.
Yeah.
They're all big. They're all fast. They're all impressive. I mean, it's unbelievable how much talent is out there and how hard that is to get to the next level. That's why sometimes it's tough to manage expectations. I like to watch the combine, but then again, I'll say one name to you: Vernon Golston.
Yeah.
The Jets got he had the all-time greatest combine of all time. The Jets fell in love, used the number 6 pick on, and he stunk up his joint.
Yeah.
It
Mike
reminds
Babula.
me of music.
Ohio State, right?
It's a long
Yeah.
way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Yeah,
Yes,
man. It ain't easy getting to the top, is it, guys? You guys
is.
know, as we're
It's
with
tough.
all these legends. This is a great day. Great day for
Yeah.
podcasting in Cleveland. Look at this. Look at this, guys. All right. Thanks, guys.
Don, I love
Thanks,
the glasses.
Larry, for
It's like
coming on with us, buddy. We appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
man.
Yes, thanks,
Thank you.
Larry.
Wow.
Wolfman.
Thank you.
the points of Don's star off his glasses is like awesome. Totally baffled everything. Too far. But when you're like in the right spot,
I look like
it's
the
like
Simpson
points
girl's
are on
hair.
our glasses.
I love it.
Lisa Simpson. I don't know, that little baby.
All right, guys, we're out. We'll see everybody later.
All right,
Take it
peace
easy.
out.
Larry,
Go
go
Browns.
Browns.
Woo!
Here we
Woo,
go,
woo, woo.
Brownies. Here we go.
Woo, woo.